In any type of PvP map, you're always stuck in this situation. Your sprint isn't engaging and you're at half a heart while your opponent is chasing after you. There's a way to get out of this. This is what I like to call parkouring away. Now, the easiest way to do this is finding the nearest source of cover, which might be very hard to come by in survival games. What you want to do is you want to find the biggest source of cover, but we're not going to use it to block all the arrows. We're going to use it to our advantage. Like I do here, jump on top of it, twist around, and jump right over his head. It'll give you enough time to make your crazy escape, or just get a few hearts off of him like I did. It may work a few times, but only use it maybe twice or 3 times in a match. They will get used to your technique, and they'll hit you in midair, so be careful with this maneuver. If there are ever animals in your some type of arena, always use them to your advantage. Like I do here, hide behind a certain type of animal. I suggest a sheep or a cow. Those are the biggest, but any type is better. But one thing you need to do is always have a bow out when you're behind a pig or cow or a sheep, because they will be long range shooting at you or even hitting you. Now, another tip for this certain type, you always need to have an ender pearl in your inventory. Like I do in my map, I give them 2. You can always use that to get out of the way. Now, this is very hard to maneuver, because they may hit you by a chance and not the animal. Whenever that happens, run to the nearest animal. You should be alright. It's a perfect trick to off-guard your opponent. They won't know what happened. They'll be wasting their arrows trying to shoot at you. It's a perfect tip for great PvP skills, and I suggest it gradually. In close quarters, it's always good to have a sword, not even a bow. Bows are for long range. But I do have a small little trick, or a tip as you can call it, for close quarters combat. It always works. What I'd like to call eagle clawing. What you do, you get LT and RT at the same time. Hit it at the same time rapidly like I do here. It may decrease your hit damage, but it does the same for them. So you don't get so many hearts down off of them, but you don't get as much hearts down from their hits. It's a perfect way if they have no idea what eagle clawing is. It's effective, but it's banned in my series. Other than that, this was originated from Seamus. He taught me how to do it, and I'm taking it as my own. It's a really good move, but sometimes people prefer it as cheating, because they don't like that type of style. Honestly, I don't like it either, but it's a good trick if people allow it. It always works, but if you use it so many times, they'll get used to it and they'll start using it. So make sure they don't see you doing it. Try getting them from behind with an ender pearl, or even with a bow. It's a perfect place to go. It's always a good trick. In my opinion, the best way to attack your opponent is the element of surprise. This tip is always be aware. You never know. You may be charging your bow on top of a huge platform, and he'll be behind you, ready to strike. You need to always be aware of where your opponent is. My opponent here is far superior from me, definitely more skilled than me. But if you use all the tips already, then you're definitely going to win. You're on your road to PvP right now. As you can see, my opponent is teleporting everywhere, trying to catch me off guard. You need to know where he is. If you're behind cover, look from side to side and always behind you. You never know where he's going to end up. He might end up behind you or even right in front of you and you don't even know. There's a lot of ways to always be aware. One is keep on checking your back in the third person. That's always the best way to do it, which is I do. While I'm sprinting, I go into third person mode. I click the analog stick twice. It checks my back so I can see if my opponent is right behind me. It's a perfect tip, and if you use it, you'll definitely not get killed. All you need to be is aware. The fifth and final tip is obviously always have an organized inventory. It's possibly the most important tip in PvP. If you ever have an inventory like this, iron sword in front, a bow, whatever you do, you will definitely pick up the win. But if you have an inventory kinda like this, you're obviously gonna lose. You see, if you're trying to switch over to your bow, then you can't. You would have to move over even more slots instead of only one. You will be screwed and you will end up dying. So if you follow these 5 tips or tricks, you will definitely win every single PvP match you're in. It's helpful, and I know some of my roster will watch this and think I gotta do this. Now, I hope you all have enjoyed this video. This took a lot of editing, so please drop a like. Remember, use these tips if you want to win, and when you do, tell me that you did in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.